Frankie Terry at Stutz, and I'm joined by course designer Ian Stark here at the event at Rebecca Farm. We are very excited to take you around the course today on a special behind-the-scenes tour. And Ian, some things that are different this year.
Yeah, we've got a few differences. The course takes a similar route to last year because we're trying to work on getting the footing absolutely perfect for the horses and riders. But there'll be one or two interesting new questions out there, so keep the riders on their toes.
Well, hundreds and hundreds of riders are going to compete here this weekend, and one of the most exciting things, obviously Young Riders is happening this weekend simultaneous to the event, but one of the most exciting things is just the amount of detail that also goes into the smaller fences here at every single level, how much work goes into that, and you have quite a crew working with you.
Yeah, I'd love to take all the credit, but it's not my doing. Bert Wood and the boys do all the building, and Bert does carvings as well. And the fences like the tractors out there, they just look incredible. And then Chris, Bert's wife, and Alyssa do a lot of the decoration, and they come up with the themes and the ideas, and they make me look better than I am.
Well, very exciting to be here, and we look forward to taking you around to give you a tour. Well, the 2-star and 3-star competitors will have a lot of work to do here at the First Water Complex. Some new changes we're seeing this year, Ian, and they look tricky.
Yeah, well, hopefully not too tricky. I don't think it's technically difficult, but you kind of got to be brave and bold and put your big knickers on and get out there. For the 3-star, they've got a decent jump in, and then we've got this very vertical gate at the top of the ramp. It looks imposing, but because of the ramp up, horses tend to have their hocks under them, the hind legs, the engine working, so they usually jump that quite well. Then they go up the hill to the spectator tent, and then they've got that massive interspace ditch brush, and they land running down the hill, and then they've got this sort of nearly 2-meter drop here back into water. Yeah, so this is definitely a kind of rider frightener. This is where I like to sort of say to riders, now have a sleepless night or two. But if the horses are in good form and the riders are riding well, it shouldn't really be a big problem. It's just a big bold jump. I've ramped the landing to make it softer for the horses so they don't get that jarred feeling. But then if they do manage this, they've got to gather up the knitting, get the reins sorted out, turn sharp right, and then they've got 90-degree corner over the water, left-handed corner. So accuracy over the gate, bold and brave down the hill, and then bold and accurate on the final corner. So there's a lot for them to think about. And the 2-star have got similar thing. They come from the top of the hill, they go brush corner in the water, round to the barnyard, and then they come back through the water. So it's quite an intense area, this, for both levels. But if they negotiate it well, then there's usually crowds from the tent cheering, and that inspires the riders to keep going.
Well, Ian's a pretty brave guy. I don't know if all riders are as brave as him, but he's trying to find that out. So we'll move on to the next part of the course. Well, out Out here at the Normandy Bank, there's a little bit of changes this year as well, and Ian, walk us through those.
Well, we've come from the big water that we've just looked at, and then the big long gallop, one table, and then we turn. It's a 90-degree turn into this Normandy Bank. So it's a 4-foot ditch, and then you've got about 1.10 meters to jump up onto the step. It's bounce step and then bounce over the log. So this is the same as last year, but the changes this time is normally I put a brush after the Normandy Bank so that riders can be long reins and a little bit loose, a little bit riding by the seat of their pants slightly. This time I want more accuracy, so it's important that the riders get this bank correct, the striding's right and they jump well, and then the riders are going to sit up and hold them together for an open corner. So I think there's more likelihood of a run out when it's a solid open corner rather than a friendly brush.
Especially after galloping all the way out here.
They've got a little bit long and flat, and so the good thing is that there's a tight turn in, so that helps the horse get concertina together, and it makes the riders have to ride them a little bit more. And then because of the turn, the horse's hind legs are more underneath them, so they should jump up here well. If they jump up well, I think the corner will just come to them, but it's more of a rider frightener, and I think because it's open, there's a risk of us interfering because we think we know better, and quite often we just have to show the horse what they're doing and they get on with it really on their own.
And the CIC competitors will contest this as well this year with a little bit of a different ending.
They have the 2-star question. It's slightly different. It's slightly kinder.
With brush at the end.
Yes, exactly.
All right, well, we'll move on and take a look at that. Exciting coffin here, and the CCI and CIC competitors will contest it this year. It's pretty steep coming into this, Ian.
Yeah, it's been here a few years, the same rail and the landing, and it doesn't look any easier when each time I come back. I think it's probably technically the most difficult fence on the course. It's most difficult for a rider to get it right, and it's most difficult for the horse to read as they approach it. So it's all about getting. You've come straight from the Lincoln Logs, which is quite close. So as soon as they land, you've got to get the horse back on their hocks, rebalance, really sitting short, and that bouncy coffin canter, and then punchy forward into the deep spot. Get a nice round jump, and then really the rider's just got to sit up and look and keep riding. There's nothing they can do to dictate the striding in here. They've got to go with what the horse gives them. It should be 1 stride and then 2 up the slope on the way out, but we'll see a lot get a stride and a little shuffle, and there might even be 3 on the way out. But it doesn't really matter. On the way up the hill, the horses again have got their hind legs under them, so that's okay. But there is an alternative for A on the way in, but it's just time consuming, a little skinny, and then they've still got to jump the ditch and the rails. And in many ways it's more difficult to get to the ditch and have a good confident jump over that if you've gone the long route on the approach. So I hope to see most people will just get going and attack this way in and the direct route. As long as they've set the horses up, the more positive the riders are in the last few strides, and allow the horse a little bit of freedom of rein to look down and see the ditch and give you a correct jump over this A element, it should look after itself. And then the riders should be nice and confident for the rest of the course.
Well, if you're joining us this week, be sure to check out the patron tickets from the patron tent. You'll be able to see all this action and much more. So an exciting place to be on top of that hill, and you'll be able to check this fence out as well as that other water complex we talked about earlier on. Second water on course, there's a lot to navigate again, and we are getting towards the end of the course, so it'll be important to see what these horses have left in their tank.
Yeah, that is the issue. I have early on when we did this CCI 3-star here, I kind of got a bit brave and bold with the combinations at this water, and horses were beginning to get a little weary, and so I still want to test them. It's important, we're not at the end yet. So we've got the gator in, which is a big drop into water, and then up onto the island, and then I've got a rather sneaky triple brush in between the hedges there. So it looks as though they're sort of funneled into the fence, but then when they get there, suddenly there's a big opening, so chance of running out. back through the water, and then we've got the hanging log down the ramp to the drop into the third part of the water. And then this time we've gone left-handed and we've given them a big picnic table in front of the brick house, and there could be a lot of people having a good party there. So it's be quite distracting. If the horse is getting a little weary, they might just suddenly go, whoa, I'm waking up. But you know, it's an intense line. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 jumping efforts, so it happens quite quickly, but there's nothing really technically difficult at it. It's just make sure the horses are still jumping, still positive, still thinking.
Well, it's important when you're watching this video at home, or if you're here in person, to check out the detail on all these fences. I mean, behind us, this gator, it's beautifully carved by Bert, and then there's even a rubber chicken in the mouth. We have flowers, we have moss strategically placed. I mean, really the detail that goes into this is quite remarkable, and we want to take another minute to really thank all the people behind the scenes here at Rebecca Farm that make this event so special. Having some fun out here on the cross-country course. Be sure to check out all these details. The sheriff has put up wanted signs for all of our officials here this weekend, and you'll want to come by and check out these up-close and personal photos. They're pretty hilarious, and a lot of fun had out here in the decorations. Well, we're here at the final combination on course for the 2-star and 3-star competitors, and it'll definitely be something those riders will be looking for on Saturday. They'll just have one more fence after this to navigate before they see those beautiful ribbon finish flags, and they'll be very excited to get there. And Ian, just a quick wrap up on the course today.
Yeah, this combination is second last fence. It's not that difficult, but they've got to ramp up to a big table and then 2 strides to this beautifully carved hat by Bert. And it's really just a question of you want to slow them down. The riders can get very fast and the horses get long and flat towards the end of the course. So having this mount here is perfectly positioned. We can slow the riders down. They've got to prepare for it, and then it's only the final fence after that. The whole course for me is it's proper 3-star track. I think there's some decent questions out there. Some might say that some of the questions are towards 3.5 star, but there might be the odd one that's towards 2.5 as well. So it kind of balances out at the end of the day.
Great. I'm sure everyone will look forward to hearing that as well. But thanks so much for joining us. And we have a few closing words for you guys at the finish, so we'll head over there. Here at the finish line, you'll notice these big pink ribbons behind me, and they're very significant of the event at Rebecca Farm. You can make a donation all week long here and all year, really, to help halt cancer at X. You'll see things throughout the week. And be sure to visit RebeccaFarm.org to make your contribution to helping with their big mission here. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Frankie Terry at Stutz, joined by Ian Stark. Thanks for being with us, and we look forward to seeing you more in Montana.